What a game it was, Shaka, between Manchester City and Tottenham Hotspur. 3-2. It finished in the end to the visitors. And there's so much to get through and so much to talk about. But I think we have to start with Harry Kane and everything he did today for his side.
Yeah. Listen, there's a number of ways we can look at this game, at the result, what it means for the rest of the season, leading up to this game. But in the end, you're right. It was about Harry Kane, the difference that he made, dropping deep to link up play, and Heung-min Son when he was on, exposing the room in behind City's defense. And Antonio Conte got the tactics right. Spurs made the most of what you know of City in terms of not being too bothered about their possession, being organized defensively. And then when they won the ball back, making the most of that space in behind that very high defensive line. And in the end, you have to say, an incredible game of football, and you cannot begrudge Spurs their 3 points.
No, so you know what I think we should do? I think we should just go through the game bit by bit and then talk about what it means. So Spurs took the lead early on, which already showed us we were probably going to be in for quite the afternoon. Dejan Kulusevski obviously scoring the goal, but full credit here to the likes of Harry Kane and Heung-min Son as well. Yeah,
and you saw that. Son, Kane dropping in deep, and Son just running beyond. And for the first goal, question marks around Diaz and that stepping up a little bit later on. But then Heung-min Son in space and behind, and just the goalkeeper to beat, aware of Kulusevski's late run, who himself never switched off and joined up with play and was rewarded for it. And you just wondered what that would mean in terms of City's own response. And it did come. It came in terms of a lot of possession, which got the goal. And it was the goal came, which I thought Hugo Lloris could have done a whole lot better. Gundogan clipped the outside of a post later on. But other than that, there's an awful lot for Hugo Lloris to do, certainly not in the first half.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that. So you've answered my question for me of whether Hugo Lloris should have done better on that equaliser. Then came what happened to be a massive goal with Harry Kane putting Spurs ahead again to make it 2-1 at the hour mark. And at that point, things really do start to look as though they could be going Spurs' way for a time.
Yeah, that's right. And as I mentioned, there wasn't a whole lot to report of Spurs or in front of Hugo Lloris's goal. And then Heung-min Son and Harry Kane again link up so wonderfully well. The ball from Son into Kane really was a fantastic one. And the finish Kane made look so easy. This is the thing when you have players of Harry Kane's quality. That was a very difficult finish. Yet I don't think it'll be barely mentioned when we're talking about Harry Kane, because that is so comfortably in his wheelhouse. But you saw the value of Heung-min Son again, and the understanding around that relationship and that between those two. Spurs go, they take the lead, and then you saw the response from City. And while we may be rightfully critical of Hugo Lloris for the goal, he made a save. Was it Bernardo Silva or from Gundogan? That was simply outstanding. That it really was an outstanding save from Hugo Lloris. Shows his quality and why he certainly at his peak is rated one of the best goalkeepers in world football. That was him turning back the clock.
And just before that, there'd been a save from Edison as well. So the goalkeepers union got some nice stuff to look at.
Yes.
The Romero handball, what did you make of it?
Once the referee went to review, I thought it would have been given. I have to admit, initial look, I thought, no, I don't think VAR will intervene. But the more you look at it, and albeit while the ball was just over his head when it connects with the arm, and the arm started a long way out, his right arm kind of came over a little bit unnaturally to the left-hand side. So the more you saw it, the more you felt that it would be given. And once the referee was asked to go over to the screen, you knew he'd be pointing to the spot. And indeed, it was a very short review.
Pressure as well on Riyad Mahrez, but managed to put that one away.
for the review, for all the pressure, for all that it meant, penalty was simply incredible. Lloris went the right way, but there's nothing anybody could do. That was as well taking a penalty as you will see. Credit Riyad Mahrez.
And so what I didn't mention is that Spurs had the goal disallowed because Kulusevski was offside.
Yep.
When Spurs did get the go-ahead goal, again, the actual winning goal in the end, this time he stayed onside, and it was Harry Kane on the score sheet once again. What a night.
The other aspect of that, though, and just turning the clock back a few minutes, is that for the Romero handball, you saw Pep Guardiola, you saw a number of the City players going to the referee asking for a second yellow. I have to admit, Kay, I didn't think it was deserving of another yellow card. I thought the penalty was the right call and no more. But you saw the City players protesting. Stay with 11 men on the pitch. As far as I'm concerned, I thought rightly so. And then you saw Spurs rewarded for it. And if you're a City fan, you're left wondering, what if? The Spurs should have been down to 10 men at the very least. We'd have gotten a point out of this. And yes, everything right on the edge again for the goal. Wonderfully taken yet again. And you stand a cross up, Walker up against Harry Kane, one-on-one. That was a mismatch. And Harry Kane made them pay the price. A wonderfully thumping header to grab all 3 points. And again, as much as you want to, we can sit here and talk about City and their possession. Practically, Spurs did everything that was needed to beat Pep Guardiola's Manchester City.
What a story. That's the double now for Spurs over City in the Premier League this season. Remember, on the opening weekend, they won 1-0 with the goal from Son. And what a turnaround for Harry Kane as well, because remember all that uncertainty at the beginning of the season. Who would have expected back then that here he would be putting in a performance like this in the next game that they would meet this season?
Yeah, see that price tag go up, just another 40 or 50 million on just the back of this performance alone. Listen, the truth is, and we can talk about this game for an hour and still maybe not do it justice. There is so much we could talk about, not just in terms of the 90 minutes, what it means now for the title running, and as we were discussing before, let's remember as well, we're talking about a Spurs team who came into this one losing 3 on the bounce.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to play. There's never a good time to play Manchester City, but you do not want to play Manchester City at the Etihad when you've just lost 3. Antonio Conte has been in the press all this week about what he's had to say. There's so much about this that we can discuss. Even if you want to put that in the context of what we saw earlier today with Norwich, of all people, taking the lead against Liverpool, well, we saw how that game played out. And now we are talking about one of the best games of the season, some of the best football you've seen, very contrasting styles in terms of Manchester City's own possession. I think they were up at 75% possession over the course of the 90 minutes. A defensive masterclass from Spurs, but knowing when to make the most of the space in behind City. Never panicked, seemed to always get it right. And somehow here we are, Spurs, despite that run coming in, taking all 3 points. And unless you're looking at the stats, unless you're hanging far too heavily on the stats, you can't really begrudge Spurs the 3 points.
No, so just to end then, we will mention what it does mean for the title race. It's just now 6 points between Man City and Liverpool behind them. Liverpool have a game in hand. They're going to play that on Wednesday against Leeds. And then they face each other, and I think it's April 9th. Title race is suddenly wide open.
As my grandmother used to say, don't wish your life away. But I think I speak on behalf of all Premier League fans. Roll on April, because it's poised so nicely.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.